Have you ever wondered why history seems like it was written by a kid on a sugar rush from too much incense and Greek wine? Today we're going to look at maps from the 15th and 16th centuries that scream things at us that don't add up. Sultans who look like Vikings, popes in Africa, Babylon where Cairo is now, and a Vatican that simply doesn't exist. We're going to stick a dagger into the official story, and we're going to twist it. In almost all Renaissance maps, Babylon isn't where the archaeologists with PhDs swear it was. It's not in Iraq, it's in Egypt. Yes, Cairo labeled as Babylon, and a Sultan of Babylon, shown as a great power, with a blonde beard and a straight nose like a Gothic cathedral. Pretty Aryan for a sultan, don't you think? But of course, it's better not to suspect if he has Nordic features. Babylon =sign Cairo. So, when Alexander conquered Egypt, maybe he was taking back Babylon, the real one. And judging by these maps, it makes sense that the official story says he freed Egypt and ruled in Babylon, because they're the same thing. What if what they call Babylon is a recycled name, the same city again, another cycle, another empire? Because if there's one thing official history does, it repeats more than Netflix. Who was the Great Khan on 16th century maps? Spoiler alert, it wasn't Genghis or Kublai. It was a living, real, powerful figure. He ruled an immense Gothic medieval order, a civilization of imperial proportions that challenges the limits of our common sense. And who talks about him today? Nobody. They ripped him out of the story like an awkward scene. Why? Because this great Khan faced the Western Bloc in a philosophical war, literally like Don Quixote, because that famous nobleman represents the spirit of that old order, now ridiculed. The result? The Romanovs won, rewrote and erased. And now, 16th century, maps everywhere, kings, empires, tributes. And the Pope? Nothing, silence. On many maps, Rome is a joke. The Vatican, a humble plot of land, a St. Peter's Church almost in ruins, when supposedly tributes from all Catholic Europe arrived there. The funny thing is that Avignon still appears as a papal residence, 2 centuries after the end of the Avignon papacy, according to official history. And here comes the flying kick to the dogma. On those same maps, a pope does appear, but he's not in Rome, he's in Ethiopia. Prester John, the priest king, the great pontiff of the universal Christian kingdom, appears with all the papal symbols, the triple crown tiara, the 3-crossed staff, the imperial aura. A medieval fantasy? Maybe. Or maybe not. Because Ethiopia has churches carved into rock with Gothic geometry, ancient processions with papal robes, and clerical structures that remind us more of ancient Catholicism than the current Vatican. Why does the Baroque Vatican seem like it's from the 17th century? Because it literally is. Before it, the Latin papal power was in another place, which makes sense for the Gothic nature of the Avignon papacy. The only clear thing is that it was never in Italy. And when it finally arrives in this Rome, it appears hand in hand with an order with a license to rewrite, the Society of Jesus. They are the ones who put together the new story. They create a calendar, a timeline, and a unified history. And all the old maps that don't fit are hidden, destroyed, or called obsolete. The real question? What if this official history isn't the past, but a surgical operation on time, carried out by winners who needed to bury the international medieval order that funded European Gothic architecture? From Prester John to the Pope in Rome, the cartographic lie of spiritual power. Leave a like and we'll see you later with more notes against official pseudo-history.